Well, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. How's everybody doing today? It is Thanksgiving Eve. Thanksgiving Eve. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. We've got our Dallas Cowboys going against the New York stinking Giants. And I am up early this morning. Got my niece and nephew here. Picked them up at 6 a.m. And before I left, actually got my CNC machine going because we've got to get those prints and stuff out because we've got all of you great fans that we have to take care of. So what's crazy is, like I said, I was up at 5 o'clock this morning and I look and I see I got a
Damn, Gina.
A damn Gina alert. But before I get to that damn Gina alert, I actually want to go on to this real quick about Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is an absolute positive beast. You don't need me to tell you that. You know, we're talking about a guy who's got 23 sacks in a season and a half in his second season. That's freaking insane. He has more sacks than Lawrence Taylor had his two first years by far. And we're only halfway through. Well, a little more than halfway through. But you get what I'm saying. We got 7 more games. It is freaking insane what he's doing. 2 sacks last week. The last time we played the Giants, we only got 2 sacks. We'll see if we have a meeting at the quarterback this weekend. This weekend, this Thursday, this Thanksgiving. I'm going to be trying something different because in the past, I've just cooked Thanksgiving dinner and we've lost the last 5. So I ordered a big sub. I'm going to be going to pick it up here in about another hour or two. And I was saying to my wife, I said, you know, I got the big sub because I'm superstitious and I'm afraid that the Cowboys, you know, we have not won the last 5. She's like, really? I said, yeah. I said, good thing we usually eat early at Thanksgiving because it's kind of jacked up. I said, so I got the big sub. She's like, oh, are you going to do like a Thanksgiving sub? I said, I was thinking about just taking like part of the sub and, you know, making that Thanksgiving leftover sandwich. And she was like, you ought to make the whole sub that way. And I was like, yeah, I was going to put some of the ham and some of the turkey. And she's like, don't forget the sweet potatoes on there. Sweet potatoes. She said, you going to put the stuffing on too? I said, yeah. And I was thinking, I said, I'll get a gravy bowl. So that way, you know, you can get your sandwich and put the cranberry sauce and stuff on there. And then you could pour some gravy on top of it. So, you know, yeah. She's like, yeah. She's like, you know what? That's all we need to do for Thanksgiving dinner. I was like, okay. All right. So we're going to have a Thanksgiving sub for dinner. We'll see if that helps to change the mojo for the Dallas Cowboys on there. But last week, when the NFL screwed us, the brother screwed us by taking our game off, was the same time that Micah Parsons was slow getting up off the field. And we'd heard Micah Parsons was questionable to return. Well, you can't keep a good man down. You can't keep the dogs from barking at the door. Here is sounds from the sidelines here because Micah, you know, he just basically rubbed some dirt on it and he was ready to go.
He's coming. And I'm done. One more time. That's why I got one more. Man, don't make me upset. You gotta get one more than me. He older than me. Just leave me out there. Just let me finish my game. What? No. Alright. It's 8 minutes. What the hell? 8 minutes, coach. No. This is the series. I need to be in this series, and then after the 4 minute, I'll come out. I need one more series. It's 8 minutes.
That's insane.
Yep. Actually, it's 8:15. We gotta play third. What does that mean? That's coming from up top.
That's insane. You already slaughtered, but here's the thing, and if you've played football before, you understand the mentality because you know when you play football in the third quarter, you either want this game to just end because you're getting your ass kicked, or you want this game to go longer because you are kicking ass. And that was a case where Micah Parsons was kicking ass and he wanted to get some more, and that's what you love. See, that is a guy who you know loves playing football. You know that he is in it. Now, don't get me wrong. he's going to get paid. But, you've got the whole controversy right now about his barber now to come to his house to cut his hair has gone up to $200. And he's like, man, my barber's charging $200, to come to my house, cut my hair and everything else and stuff. But he talked about just because you have money doesn't mean you're supposed to spend it. He's like, I don't spend $6 for a Coke out. And it's like, shoot, I'm trying to understand why it is. A 12-pack of cans of Coke is like $9. It's like, damn, why don't I just buy a 6-pack of beer? But be that as it may, he's one of those guys who's not out there to go ahead and spend every single nickel and waste money. I've met a few guys that are like that. Nnamdi Asomugha was one of those guys. He was still driving like an 80s Maxima when I met him with the Raiders. Alfred Morris was a guy who would ride a bicycle to practice and things, that they actually take care of their money. And that is a good thing, not just for football players, for all of us, because sometimes it's not how much you make. Because you can make millions, but if you spend, more millions than you make, then you're going to be a broke ass. So that's a lesson to learn for all of us. Just because you got a whole lot of money doesn't mean you're supposed to spend every nickel of it. So back to the da-da-dunt, da-da-dunt.
Damn, Gina.
She ended up sending me a link from this, which happened at 4:31 a.m. Sterling Shepard. Odell Beckham would love to return to the Giants. Okay. Now, I'm going to go through and I'm going to read this to you because it's kind of interesting the way it's worded. Giants wide receiver Sterling Shepard, who is out for the season with a torn ACL, but he may still be able to contribute to the team in one way by recruiting Odell Beckham Jr. Shepard, who played with Beckham for the Giants for 3 years, say they remain close and that Beckham is very interested in a return. Beckham is very interested in a return. He doesn't say return to the Giants. Forgive me, but he said he's interested. Yeah, he's definitely interested in a return because he wants to get another ring. But he doesn't say to the Giants. And as I go down this further, I talk to him every day, but we don't talk about his decision too much. I talk to him every day, but we don't talk about his decision too much. So if you don't talk about your decision too much, then how do you know he's interested in coming back to New York? Shepard said via the New York Daily News, obviously he knows we want him here. He would love to be here, but everything has to play out for that to happen. There's a whole bunch of intangibles that have to play out for him to be here, and I understand that. This is a business, and a business that's got to go right for him to do it. Beckham is considering both the Giants and the Cowboys, who play each other on Thanksgiving. Shepard said beating the Cowboys could help, as Beckham wants to play for a Contender. I don't think it would hurt, Shepard said, to be honest with you. I don't think it would hurt. We'd be coming off a pretty big win. A big win for us definitely wouldn't hurt, I'd say it. What also wouldn't hurt is if the Giants offering Beckham a lucrative contract. Let's be clear here. Money talks and BS walks. But I think if the Giants end up losing that game, that, you start looking at that and saying, okay, now they've lost 2 in a row. Maybe they're not that team. Maybe they're not that team that is going to be able to challenge the Super Bowl, even with Odell Beckham Jr. And that's one of those things that he wants to go ahead and get that jewelry. He wants those rings. I can't say I blame him. I'm kind of old school where I believe that, when you buy into a team concept, and I know there's no loyalty anymore. Everybody is a 1099, business. They all get a 1099 at the end of the year. They're all individuals coming together to make a company. I get that. And it's basically, I've got to do what's best for the business because I'm trying to run a business here. But it's something to me about ownership of being part of a team and saying, this is my team and I want to make my team win the Super Bowl, as opposed to saying, I'm going to go to a team that's ready made to get one. I don't know if I'm making sense on that one or not. But that was Deion Sanders. I'm with San Francisco. Hey, I'll go to the Cowboys, and get my rings with them. I'll go to Baltimore because I think I can get one with, it's just something wrong with that. It's, but then again, I guess it's just because I'm old and I'm loyal. I just guess that's the case. So now it seems like to me, and I could be wrong, that again with Odell looking at the situation of fame, fortune, in Front Street, where you're getting plenty of publicity, he's looking at teams that are going to give him the most, as well as money. And so if the Giants definitely lose on Thanksgiving, you got to say they're kind of hitting the skids where they have to start worrying because they play 4 games in the division over the next 4 games. They play us, they play the Commanders, they play the Eagles, and then they play the Commanders again. So we've got a circular firing squad that's all pointing towards the Giants. And it could be that the Washington Commanders could overtake the Giants. We'll see. They seem to have found a new mojo with Tyler Heineke and the thought of Dan Snyder going. So that may be that Odell fading there. The other horse over there, which is a team that we've already seen pull the trigger, although I don't think they have much cap space to work with, is the San Francisco 49ers that are still, they don't have as many wins as, say, the Cowboys, but they're right there as one of those scary teams. So let's listen to Rich Eisen on that situation.
Saw last night, and what I saw was a team that looked incredibly confident, the team that looked completely crisp, and they didn't even get McCaffrey in the end zone. I mean, McCaffrey's biggest contribution in the end zone was to check on the cameraman that got hit by Ayuk's celebratory toss. You know what I mean? Like that's a scary team that we saw last night. Ian.
Well, and you could see, the public is sort of really on the 49ers, and I think they were really, I guess the McCaffrey trade really kind of changed everything, and they kind of came out of it, used him a little bit the first game, and everybody was like, oh boy, like this, they could be good. And, you look at the record, and they were 4-5, and you're like, okay, like we'll see what happens. Like, I don't know what they're the favorites for, and the record is not great, but they looked really, really good, and I would hate to face them. And so, I remember when the McCaffrey trade happened, everybody was talking about the value, and I know there was plenty of teams that thought that a second-rounder plus was too much. Now I think it was a bargain.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. And I was talking just moments ago about how great the Cowboys looked as well. And Tony Pollard has been spectacular, when he does get his touches. And he's getting more touches. Mm-hmm. But I still look at that, and I'm thinking to myself, if I'm the Cowboys, if I'm the Jones family, and I see what I saw last night by the Niners, boy, we could use another playmaker in Odell Beckham Jr. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's Thanksgiving is, I think, Thursday.
Yes, it is.
Sure.
Can confirm.
Confirmed. Got it. Okay, yes. So Thursday. I had that first, by the way. But I had expected you confirmed it. That's fine. Anyway, so he's going to meet with the Cowboys after Thanksgiving. My understanding was that was going to be the Monday or Tuesday. So not like the Friday, like he's not spending his Black Friday in Dallas. I would assume he's shopping. He's going to be there after Thanksgiving. And, I know the Giants are definitely interested. Sounds like there's plans for a visit there as well. But I think there's a real possibility that Odell and Dallas go, you know what, this just makes a lot of sense. And I think for him, the opportunity to go to one of the NFL's best brands and one of the NFL's best teams, and his ACL is definitely more healthy than it was at this time last year. I know he was healthy last year, but the first surgery did not go great. The second surgery went a lot better, so he is in a really good place right now. This makes a lot of sense, and I think if you're Dallas, Rich, you're not just like, oh, yeah, really happy to make the playoffs. Like, let's go. Like, you're talking Super Bowl. And we saw that Odell was basically the final piece last year. Is he the final piece for Dallas this year?
So do you know for certain, is he going to give the Cowboys the first shot and thus the first chance to not let him out of the building, which is always the phrase you hear when a free agent visits, that if you want him and you can make him the best offer, you do it there and make sure he doesn't leave the building and think about somebody else or visit someone else?
I do not know for certain that it's going to be first.
Mm-hmm.
My guess would be that it is, but I don't know for sure. But I would say this, like, Dallas has been, sort of aggressively or attentively checking on his health.
Mm-hmm.
They've had discussions with his agent. I don't think it's been like, would you do a 3-year or whatever. I think it's been discussions. But they have been into it for some time. My guess is Odell knows around what they would offer. I think they'd like to see the knee. But, yeah, I mean, there's definitely been a mutual love interest here. And God bless the Cowboys for leaning really hard into this and giving us something to talk about for the last 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. I think the world will explode if he doesn't sign with the Cowboys because everyone probably expects it now, but it's going to be a fascinating couple of days.
Any surprise team that you hear? Could the Niners even be involved? I mean, could there be another team that we're not hearing, or other teams that might have been interested in him? Rams, Packers are no longer in the mix because they don't have a shot to win this year.
Yeah, I would say the Chiefs would probably have some interest.
What about the Bucks? What about Tom Brady? What about the Bucks? Not to interrupt you, but what about Tampa? What are you hearing about that?
I had heard Tampa as a potential destination, but like
Tampa?
3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard them recently, but it's like I always joke in free agency that if there's ever a mystery team, it's always the Bills because they're very stealth. Tampa and Tom Brady, if there's a free agent who's available, who's good, my guess is the Bucs have some sort of cursory interest. So I don't know for sure that the Bucs are involved, but if they were, I wouldn't be surprised.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern.
So, in other words, the Cowboys have the inside track. Odell may be healthier this year than he was last year, which could be key. If you were saying that he is, we've all heard the stories that his first surgery was kind of botched up, and so he was not really able to get really on track throughout the season, that this one is definitely in better shape. This may be why he's waiting a little bit longer to meet with teams to say, I am completely healed. I want a great contract. So there you go. And, boy, it's only 8:30 this morning. It feels like I've been up for about 4 or 5 hours. Gotten a lot of work done this morning. Maybe I need to start getting up at 5 every day. But you know how we roll. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll see you soon.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is